Give you a taste of what we got going on. You know it's been a rough year when I come to a place like this and I don't even bring a fishing pole. Well, good morning. Figure after all this time I owe an update on life for those who don't or aren't able to speak to us on a daily basis. We are at our typical holiday camping site. Let me turn around this way. Sun's in my face. Little Black Creek campground in Lumberton, Mississippi. Beautiful place. So a long time coming. Just an update on what's been happening. Man, is that an alligator? What is that? One sec. Anyway, that's a fish. I don't know what kind of fish. It looks like a carp or something. It's a dark color. It's big though. God, it's big. I didn't even bring a fishing pole. You know I'm stressed out when I throw fishing to the side. Anyway, so I don't even know what my last video was. Maybe coming home, something like that. But let me just catch up on what's been happening. So we came home. Those of you who remember, they sent us home rather abruptly, which we wanted home. I just felt like she needed to be home. Plus we had Sarah, right? Sarah had went through her own trauma and was basically being set to the wayside because her mom's, in the hospital and hanging on by a thread on every other day basis. But so we came home, we started physical therapy and occupational therapy, which is basically a lot of stretching and things and building her strength up. She could barely walk when we left the hospital. And within a couple of weeks, she was on a walker, doing really well on a walker. And now here we are. I've lost track of time. I don't even remember the date that we came home, but this is 2 days after Christmas, and she is walking pretty freely without anything. She bypassed the cane. She was going to go from wheelchair to walker to a cane, but she just dropped the cane altogether and went with it. She's been doing really good. That is a big fish. I'm distracted. But anyway, so she's walking good. So she's built her strength. She had double vision. And we finally found let me just tell you, this is kind of a God thing. We called all over Houston and nobody could see her until like March of next year. No, I mean, not even doing an assessment, not even talk to her and look at her and see what was wrong, because I mean, just for clarification's sake, when we left MD Anderson, they really don't do that. That's not their thing. And they were like, well, there's doctors out there. They didn't. MD Anderson's great in so many ways, and I don't want to come off as like some heavy negative. There were some mistakes that were made while we were at Anderson. I feel like could have been handled better, but in the grand scheme of things, I feel like they done us really good. They done really well, considering Mandy was a very hard case for sure. Now, knowing what I know now, I didn't know then, and they weren't clear to me that she was once she had her stroke, how intense that was, and how I knew that she basically died. They brought her back, and there were times when I thought things were okay. Things were not okay. Even though on my videos, I come off as like, oh my God, and I was scared. I felt the intensity of it, but they were not being clear with me of how intense it was. So there was quite a few times that, she shouldn't have made it, but she did, and I'm just thankful that she's here. So with all that, just there were mistakes that were made by the hospital, and we felt like we were a little bit abandoned when it come to some of the issues that she left there with, and the vision was one of them. It was like, it's a side effect of what you've been through, and we know it. That's a catfish. I see it now. That's a big fella. All right, but anyway, I'll quit playing with the catfish. So it was a side effect. It was like, there are therapists out there. Seek one out. Have a nice day. We're going to turn you back over to the oncologist and call it a day. And that kind of hurt. I mean, all that we'd been through, it's like, that was a very serious thing. Yes, she's alive, and we were thankful. I was thankful. But like what? Okay, what now? So I start calling around Houston, and I didn't realize vision therapy was a thing. And when I say therapy, just think about like physical therapy, where they exercise you and do, working the muscles that control, your movement. I didn't realize that was a thing for vision. It makes sense now, but we didn't know. So we started calling around, and immediately got disheartened with, no, yeah, we're packed out. We're booked up until March, April, May, June. I mean, some of them were late in the year of next year, before they'd even do an assessment, which, I mean, that's heartbreaking when you hear that. And at the moment, like, man, the only thing holding her back from walking better at the moment, like, she'd built her strength, but she was just, the double vision was awful. There's nothing you could do, and she's wearing an eye patch. Anyway, I got back on Google one day. It just kind of hit me to look harder, and I was like, all right. So I just Googled one last time, and there was there was one that popped up in my search, and it popped up at the top, and I was like, okay, I haven't called this one before. We call them. That's a new number. That's a new name, new business. It's called Texas Vision Therapy. And called him, and he's like, this was like probably a Thursday or a Friday of the week, and he was like, yeah, I can bring her in Tuesday. And I was like, oh, okay, so you can get her in for an assessment, but after you assess her, when do you think she would be able to get in and start therapy? And he was like, immediately. He's like, I've got openings. I'll take her on. And so we were like, oh, okay. So we went, and this guy, just like a lot of medical field when we first started, and Dr. Justin, if you're watching this, if you've happened to run across this, take no offense to what I'm about to say, but we didn't know vision therapy was a thing. And he was like, oh yeah, by about session 8, you'll start seeing some real results. And then he told us some stats that he's like, I have an elderly patient that I brought from a high prism down to a 4, and it was a big gap number. And after he assessed her, Mandy was at a 7 prism. It just means, if anybody knows anything about light and prisms, right? It's like the deflection of the vision. How you look through a glass, like you have a glass, clear glass, and you kind of look through it. You got one eye looking beside it, one eye looking through the glass. How the pieces, or the sight, what you see is slightly off. One's higher or lower, or left or right, or it deflects it, and that's a prism. So he said he assessed her at a 7 prism the day of, and prescribed her some glasses. But at the same time, we also found out that her I don't know what you call it, the focus of her eyes was off. Like me, I've got astigmatism, so it's like I take my glasses off, everything's blurry, and one eye's stronger than the other. Anyway, so it turns out that was affected as well. So it wasn't just double vision. Literally, her eyes were weaker, and in a different way. One eye was different from the other. I think she's gone. So anyway, so he and basically told us that he didn't think that was going to get any better. She will wear glasses from now on, which is fine. We can live with that. So he prescribed her this prism thing that goes on the lens, and immediately she could she wasn't seeing like real clear. It was hard at first for her to adapt to, but it was an immediate improvement. It got her to where she could open both eyes and look around, and she squinted a little. It was weird to her. So after like the 5th session, she had already went from the 6. She was already progressing, so they changed her to a 4, and now we're all the way to she's on a 2 right now. She's 1 step from no prism at all, and occasionally she'll literally just take her glasses off and she can see single. So double vision is getting corrected, so pray for that. Pray that will continue. He did say even after she gets to single vision that there will be some maintenance of it to exercise and keep it up, which makes sense. She's gonna have to flex those muscles for a while till her brain. Basically, what had happened in a very simplified way, because I don't understand this at all, but the way he described it to me, he said that the stroke broke that link to those muscles, to some of those, the neurons or whatever, to some of those muscle parts. And although they were working, they weren't working fully. So one muscle is not pulling the amount that it was before, kind of like a rubber band that's been stretched or something physically, but this was all in the control. And what he's doing is helping her brain rewire that to kind of compensate for it, and which is weird to me, but super cool. But it's working. That was the kind of thing that we were skeptical of. We were like, oh man, we left there like, oh, I hope this guy's not a quack. We needed to believe in something. And I'm gonna tell you, he's been just a godsend. That's one of the things that's bothered her the most is her vision, and he's been able to just bring that back quickly. And even he's surprised. He's like, oh wow. He's like, you are really progressing. So he's excited too. Like she is definitely determined. He gives us exercises to do at home. We do them religiously, even more so. I say she does them religiously, because she's down to where she can do them by herself now without my assistance. And yeah, she does. I mean, I just walked away from the camper and she was doing them in the camper right now. So she works at it really hard. She's very determined. Me and her are much alike. Give us a goal and we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it fast. Anyway, so that's that. She's still struggling with swallowing. She still can't eat normal food, but that is slowly, like molasses, but slowly getting better. She's just recently, we figured out that shrimp is a good texture of protein for her to eat. So I've been cooking shrimp, and we go to restaurants. I've been ordering shrimp, and it's weird. Anything with sugar in it, she despises it. There's something about her, just their sweetness that she hates. She don't like anything sweet, which is a good thing. She's lost a tremendous amount of weight. She's down to a weight that I think is even lower than when we met. She's very close to 100 pounds. She's a lot closer to being 100 pounds than I've ever seen her. But I think that's going to get better, as like I said, we found a way to get more protein in her body and get her to eat. We found more things that she can eat rather than just eggs. She's getting so burnt out on like eggs and soft ramen noodles and things like that, which, eggs are great, but ramen noodles and pastas and things, that's not a lot there. but we're getting there. Her spirit got really low for a bit, rightfully so. It's been an awful time, and I don't wish what's happened to our family on anyone. But yeah, 2022. We're barely even taking pictures. That's why I've just stopped social media stuff like normal. I like sharing stuff because for me, I like going back and remembering, and so I kind of got to a place where I was like, I don't want to remember this. I want to forget it. I want to forget it ever happened, but God's telling us lately, this is it's a story and it's a testimony, and our friend Michelle, Cartagena, our neighbor, but our friend, she made a comment one day that kind of hit home. She's like, this isn't a new chapter. This is an entirely new book. This is something brand new. And that's true. It's, what Mandy got low about was, she's like, I didn't have to do this before. I didn't struggle like this before. Why can't things be like before? And, I don't blame her. I get it, but I just keep reminding her, like, hey, the alternative was losing you, and we didn't, and you're here, and you are getting better, and there will be some level of normal that you will reach again. Will it be exactly what you were before? No, probably not. I'm not getting my hopes up for a 110% recovery in that sense, but I think she'll be fine. I think we'll there's some follow-up doctor's visits that coming up next month in January, and just to talk about what's next and what's left. And I'm pretty much going to put my foot down at the moment. We won't be doing any more surgeries unless there's something that comes up that's life-threatening that we were not aware of. But no more cutting for now, and I just don't think she's better enough for anything new at the moment. She still needs to heal. She still struggles. We struggled getting over here. I was worried about the drive over here. It's about an 8-hour-ish, with a couple stops along the way, but it's about an 8-hour drive, and her and Sarah both are dealing with like sciatic pain from those lumbar punctures. I mean, they were a pin cushion for a really big pin. I mean, they got poked a lot, and they're suffering for it right now. And Sarah's doing really good. She's still struggling with some nausea. They put her on the it's kind of a chemo treatment. It's a chemotherapy type treatment. I keep saying that it's not traditional chemo. Her hair's not going to fall out and things like that. It's but she's, there's side effects like anemia and whatnot. So she's going to take that on a regular basis, and she's going to do frequent blood tests. But he's going to allow her to go back to college, and she actually moves back in January 13th. She's gotten really creative about covering up her little her little scar right there for now, as her hair grows back. But she's doing good, and she's beautiful, and she is just tender-hearted, and it's going to break my heart for her to go back to school. Because when you almost lose, when you go through something like this, and you almost lose a loved one, it's a lot different. It kind of hits harder, for them to leave you and get out of your grip and get out of your comfort. I got a little PTSD over both of them right now. I don't want to leave their sight. I don't want to leave them alone. I just, I just don't like it, and rightfully so. I mean, God, last months and months of life has been, if it hadn't been for me looking over Mandy, or Mandy looking over Sarah when she was in the hospital, one of them, if not both of them, may not be here. So so it's just kind of like that, and And this is why I've really been putting this video off, because to talk about it is to kind of relive some of it. And it's been a hard year, you know. I'm very thankful where things have come, but it's been a hard year that we just really want to forget. We want to get it behind us. And yeah, it hasn't been sunshine and rainbows by any stretch of the imagination. So, but anyway, so that's our update. So here we are. We finally made a family trip away from home. It's not without its kinks. We definitely, like I said, I was worried about this drive over. They did okay, but it bothered them pretty well. And so we can't really run and go as active as normal. So like today is just kind of sit at the camper and eat some camp food, and Elena's going to come to us and bring the girls, and we're just going to kick it and hang out and enjoy camping. And yeah, so that's the update. It's a long video, and I apologize, but I had to cram it all into one because I just don't want to really relive it anymore. And there's a whole lot more to say. So if anybody's ever watching this, and you know, if something's going on, you're headed to MD Anderson, or you're even dealing with like the Von Hippel-Lindau, you have any questions, reach out to us, because I think there's some things I could probably tell you that I may not want to say on this video that would really help you and make your experience a lot better. Things for you to look out for. Because basically it's like this: the hospitals have protocols. And if you're a special case, those protocols may not align with what you need at the moment. So I love you guys. Thanks for all the support. Thank you to everybody. You know, I can't thank all of you enough. You know, just Risha and Miss Cheryl and Michelle, both Michelles, our friends at home, and just all you guys have done. It's just been amazing. So thank you for that outpour, and God bless you for it. So thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.